sometimes works.
Okay,
Okay.
we're here.
Okay.
We won't start the recorder without you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to log off and see if I can get sound.
Okay.
How's everyone doing?
Doing well. Good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Mr. Maxwell, good morning. I think we're still waiting for Andrew Knight too, aren't we? Oh, there he is in the lobby.
So can someone speak to see if I can hear? I don't think I can still.
Welcome back.
Can't hear. Let me try one thing, and if not, I'll call in.
Hi, Mr. Knight.
Good morning. You guys hear me okay?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Great. It's mutual.
Okay. I think it's just tennis with the audio challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Are people talking now? Pam?
We can talk.
Shoot.
I
Okay,
am
I'm going to have to call in.
Okay, we'll watch for you on the phone.
No. Not that that does her any, or she can hear.
You can hear.
Can hear her. She can't hear us.
But yeah, that's right. She can't hear us. Janice, was that you that just called in? Okay. So now you can hear us.
Except the rest of us. Oh, she's muted. Okay.
Yes, no?
She has to unmute on the platform for the rest of us to hear her.
Okay, so Janice, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now we
I'm
can
trying
hear
to
you.
figure out the best way to mute.
I think you have to stay unmuted on the platform, Tanis, so that we can hear you. And you can hear us through the phone.
Candace, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
I was trying to unmute myself through the telephone.
Ah,
No, you're okay.
Now I can hear you.
yeah.
So
Okay, so one more
before
thing.
we get
So
going, let
I'll
me,
unmute on the video, but there's an echo in my phone. Can you guys hear that?
No.
no.
Um,
So let me just say, this was, I feel like QVC here. This was $23 on Amazon. It's called a microphone. And the name is Tonor, Tonor. And my husband and I were having audio issues with our respective laptops and desktops. And even though we had different issues on 3 different platforms, the Tonor, which just is a USB attachment, has cleared everything up. Everything. Every
All right.
issue solved by a $23.
Testimonial.
Pro tip.
Thanks for the commercial.
Yes, sorry. I'll
No.
ask them to give me a bonus later.
All right. Help
All
someone
right,
else.
Pam, are you going to record
Yes,
this? We don't do anything with the recordings, but
it's being recorded.
we have them. Thank you. Great. So we are on the platform. Lots of us are on the platform in WQCC 2384. This is a proposed rulemaking, supplemental requirements for water reuse. Petitioner is the Water Protection Division of the Environment Department. We have a number of parties on the platform, and I'll just ask you to confirm that you are.
So much for her handy little gadget.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help if your bandwidth goes out.
You're right. They only help certain things.
Yeah.
Pam, are you texting with Felicia?
Well, that was frustrating. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can hear you now, yes.
Okay, here I am going on about a microphone and my own internet connection just sort of dropped out momentarily. So I'm sorry about that. Let's again confirm the appearances. Andrew Knight, I see Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Here.
Mr. Maxwell, I see Mr. Maxwell. All right, Ms. Fox, I see Ms. Fox.
Here.
Great. Mr. Wexler for
Morning.
Namoga. Okay. Let's see. Who is Mr. Herman? I don't know who Mr. Herman.
Jason Herman is with me. He is the one of our groundwater bureau people who's going to be one of our witnesses.
Oh, terrific. Thank you, Mr. Herman. And let's see. I see Ms. Bowen on the platform. She is Commission Counsel. So, shall we just step through the proposed order? And Ms. Fox, I did see your proposed edits there.
Thank you. And I thought I'd send that to Jeff right now. I think your email is in my email. Let me do that right now.
Thank you.
You did.
All right. Let's just step through it paragraph by paragraph. The first paragraph, there were no proposed edits there. It just basically says we're going to start the hearing on May 13th. And
I'm sorry, I don't have Jeff's.
What?
I'm sorry, Madam Hearing Officer. I don't have Mr. Wexler's email.
Oh,
I don't mind if you start going though, Madam Hearing Examiner. Tanis, it's J Wexler at montand.com, montand.com.
Is it A-N?
A-N-D, yeah, Mont and I don't know. We weren't very creative with our email.
I'll wait for you to confirm that you can access it, Mr. Wexler.
Thank you.
Should be gone.
Got something from 1-800-flowers.com, but I don't think that's going to help.
Okay.
Information for Valentine's Day.
Right.
Let's see here.
It seems to be slow, but I'm sure it'll come in and then I can see it. In the meantime, I don't think we need to wait.
Hold on. Trying to do this myself here. Where?
Sometimes it takes a while to get out of our server, but I'm pretty sure I had the right email address.
Yeah. And then there might be delay on our end and but who knows?
Okay. Okay, I also hit forward on it, Mr. Wexler.
Great, thank you.
But if we just keep going here, I'll be very explicit about what we're looking at. Actually,
Understood. And I did just receive the email from Tanis.
oh, okay, good. All right, so the first paragraph is a simple recitation of the commission's decision to have a hearing on May 13th and designate a hearing officer. The second paragraph merely notes the correct date, namely today, that we're having the pre-hearing conference. Then begin the ordering paragraphs. In the first paragraph, it's noted that effectively the hearing will be hybrid. It'll be conducted in person, but there will be a virtual participation option, and that we may take the entirety of the week, May 13th through 17th. Order paragraph number 2. The original proposal from Mr. Knight was the testimony at the hearing shall be presented by issue, and that is crossed out by Ms. Fox. The rest of it is simply that the schedule of testimony will be issued following the parties' filing of their notices of intent, and that even though we'll have a schedule of testimony, I'll have some discretion to deviate from that schedule based on time constraints and other considerations. This is all pretty ordinary stuff. Ms. Fox, let me ask though, when you say that you would prefer to strike the sentence, testimony shall be presented by issue. I remember we did a fair amount of that in the, I think it was the ozone precursor hearing. Did you think that didn't work, or you just wanted to allow for the greatest amount of discretion here?
Madam Hearing Officer, the second, I thought ordering the testimony by issue made a lot of sense in the ozone precursor rule, which was very complicated and had a lot of very discrete issues. It does involve witnesses jumping up and down and coming in and coming out. This is a much more circumscribed hearing, so I don't anticipate the need to do it by issue. Although this hearing order, if we strike that language, doesn't preclude ordering the testimony by issue. But like, for example, for our witnesses who, we're nonprofit, we have limited resources. And so for witnesses to have to be available, over the course of the entire week, which the hearing could last, in order to jump back up and down on issues, that could be like a resource problem for us as well as for the witnesses. So I think that decision is better left until after the testimony is filed. Okay. And Mr. Knight, I'm inclined to accept that edit just because it doesn't preclude it, as Ms. Fox says. It just may not make as much sense as it did in the ozone hearing.
Madam Hearing Officer, let's see, I guess Yeah, our take on it was that we thought it did work very well for the ozone precursor hearing, and we are, we would. It is our preference to have testimony by issue for this hearing, and if our witnesses could testify by issue, we would appreciate that. And we think it really makes it easier for the commission, and that's the biggest reason for it, not because it's easier on the witnesses or anyone else, but it makes it easier for the commission to hear all the relevant evidence on any one issue, kind of all sequentially or all, one right after the other. So otherwise, each witness is going to cover 6 different topics on our side, and we feel like that might be more difficult, make things more difficult on the commission. So it is a preference, and we certainly defer to your decision on that.
All right. As I said, my inclination is to see what makes the most sense after we have the NOIs in hand, which may well be, look like the ozone precursor issue-driven format or not. But it's hard for me to say at this point because I don't know what the NOIs are going to look like just yet. Does anyone else have any comment on this? No. All right. So I'm gonna take that out, but it doesn't preclude us doing it that way. All right. 3rd paragraph: NOIs shall be filed on or before April 15th. And then the second edit is a more grammatical edit than anything else. Demonstrative exhibits, which may include PowerPoints. Any comments there?
Madam Chair, sir, we don't really have strong feelings on any of the other edits. As far as I know, some are, as you point out, just grammatical or just differences in formatting, I guess. So I have no comment on this one.
All right. Let's
Hearing
jump down
officer.
then. Yes, Ms. Fox.
Just wanted to note the reason for that, and that is that demonstrative exhibits by definition are not evidence. PowerPoints can be evidence. And we may want some of our PowerPoints to be evidence. And so that's the reason for the proposed change. It's an evidentiary one, it's an evidentiary one.
All right. Well, thank you. In my view, the commission can, use any of it as a basis for deliberation. So I'm kind of less hung up on a rigorous sorting, if you will. All right. Let's jump down to order paragraph 6. And I've done it both ways, where witnesses are limited to 15 minutes and witnesses are limited to 30 minutes. I will say, although 15 minutes might move us along more quickly, it did feel really short, even on rebuttal. Mr. Knight?
Yeah, again, we don't have any strong feelings regarding that. I think we envision our own rebuttal being very concise, but if other folks, feel like they need more time, I have no objection.
Okay, anyone else have comment on that? All right, so we'll accept that edit. The edits in paragraph 7, I think, are primarily grammatical, with one exception right there at the end. Ms. Fox, you probably know that since March 2020, I've gone to great lengths to try to protect our virtual hearings from those who would disrupt them. And that has effectively meant precluding public commenters from turning on their video. And I understand that some folks just really want to be seen, but it's definitely one of the measures we've taken consistently to avoid Zoom bombers, I guess is what they call them. So I'm likely to stay with that practice, unless I can assure myself that someone turning on their video is not going to be disruptive. But do you have any other comment on that?
Madam Hearing Officer, I recognize that issue. And I have just a couple of thoughts. One, I feel like when members of the public aren't seen but only heard, it dilutes kind of the power of their comments. But I was also wondering that if it were a possibility to have two platforms, as was done during the methane waste rule hearing, where you served as hearing officer, where you had one platform where people could appear, counsel, witnesses, member of the public who are giving comment, and then members of the public who were just watching and couldn't access the hearing by video or audio. So I put that out there as a suggestion.
Okay, and let me just mention the issue there. I had made kind of a pain in the neck of myself around a certain licensing issue for that hearing, and it turned out to be expensive. But as I said, I was so adamant that we not suffer from the events that were suffered by the EIB in other contexts, or the PRC, or a variety of other public bodies, that at least for that hearing, the agency spent the extra multi-hundreds of dollars to lock things down and give me the ability to sort folks into different participant categories: attendees versus participants versus panelists. So what I would do, because WebEx, Teams, and Zoom continue to kind of change, exactly how we interface with things and change what our settings are, I would work with Pam to see what's possible with whatever license the agency currently has, with WebEx, I guess, and see what we could do. Again, I'm not averse to seeing people on screen. And we were able to do it without incident for the clean car hearing that we had, that Mr. Maxwell was part of in November. I don't want to promise. I don't want to promise.
Madam Hearing Officer, that's all I can ask. I understand the security concern.
Okay, thank you. Let's go down to 11. Deadlines do not preclude the filing of motions in limine that could not have been reasonably anticipated before May 3rd. Mr. Knight, any comment on that?
No comment.
Okay. We'll
No
take
objection.
that. And then I think in 12, the edits are more grammatical than substantive. So
Yeah, we're
that's all
we're fine with all those.
Okay, that's all I saw then, by way of edits proposed by Ms. Fox to the procedural order, the pre-hearing order. Let me just say, as soon as the NOIs have been filed, on April 15th. I will take a look at those, and I will ask Pam to reach out to all of you so that we can get on the platform again sooner rather than later, right after the NOIs are filed. We could, let's see. No, that's 2 months away. We don't need to do that right now. Let's make contact then, right around April 15th, so we can get on the platform together again. Are there other things we should talk about while we're on the platform together?
Madam Hearing Officer, I just wanted to point out to those who have recently entered their appearances that we have, it is my understanding that we have secured a hearing location, that it's going to be in the Roundhouse, and I believe room 317, although, yes, okay, Pam's nodding. So Roundhouse in Santa Fe, room 317. And the only other thing I had a question about was that I wrote in there, I was copying language from a previous pre-hearing order that said that the hearing will begin immediately following the commission's regularly scheduled meeting. And I'm not sure if May 13 is in fact a regularly scheduled meeting of the commission or not. So we may want to strike that language if the commission's meeting is occurring at a different time. Or if, I don't know, the commission may want to schedule their monthly meeting to occur on that Monday morning. I'm just not sure. So I'll leave that to Pam and the but just want to make sure we take that out. If in fact it's not, if we're going to start the hearing at 9 rather than following the regular commission meeting.
Yeah, I certainly prefer a time certain rather than, following a regularly scheduled meeting. And I would say the commission never meets as a regular matter on a Monday.
Okay.
But Pam, right, their regularly scheduled meetings are on Tuesdays. But Pam, did you have any more information for us about something the commission may or may not have to do on May 13th?
It's my understanding, and I'll confirm it and firm it up, that we will have a brief meeting on the 13th as opposed to the regularly scheduled date, which is always the second Tuesday, which would be the 14th. I think if there's any agenda matters to be discussed, we would move them to the 13th. But let me confirm that with the chair and with Council Bowen.
Great.
All right.
Great. Yeah. And hopefully there would be if there's some minor matters that can be dealt with quickly, then the commission, while the commission's all gathered there, or as many of them are gathered, they can take care of that business a little more efficiently.
And if I can just say one more thing, we are scheduled in room 317, but that's always at the pleasure of the scheduler in the Roundhouse. If we can possibly be bumped out of that room, if a committee needs it. And so I always recommend that we direct people to the NMED calendar, which is where I will have the latest and greatest date as we approach that hearing. It has been known to happen in the past that we've been moved
over to 314 or 315 or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if that would occur, we would certainly put signage up on the doors for members of the public that are walking in that morning.
Okay. Thank you for that, Pam. Is there anything else to talk about in connection with this pre-hearing order, or anything else we should be talking about before April 15th?
I guess one of the reasons for our desire to have the hearing in the Roundhouse was security, and just in very general terms. And I guess the Roundhouse certainly, they have their own security. People, I think people are required to go through metal detectors the same as they are for a courthouse, pretty much. So I don't know. I don't know if there would be any need for any additional security, but I think that the department, as the petitioner, will assess that and address that need as we get closer to the hearing. But just the fact that it's in the Roundhouse will probably be adequate. But that's just a topic that if anyone else has any input on it, as we get closer, we'll assess that. But it should be fine being in the Roundhouse, I assume. It's good enough for the state legislature. It's probably good enough for a produced water hearing. But this topic can be, as some of us recall, this topic can be controversial, even though we don't believe anything we're proposing in the rule should be controversial. But the very topic of produced water does tend to attract controversy. So we want to be, err on the side of safety. That's our department policy.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Anything else?
Nothing further.
No? All right. Well, I'll make the edits we discussed. And on April 15th, hopefully, you'll get an email that asks you for your availability later that week so that we can talk about the order in which folks will testify and any other logistical things we can clear up before we join together in room 317. So,
Great.
thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
And be in touch.